his career?
Elle, absolutely. Yeah. So
Okay.
whatever is the appropriate functionality of today, and I could drop in, after and fill in some blanks on who we are and what we're doing. But please, yeah, let's go.
All right. So we'll start with you, John, since you're on a short time frame.
All right, great. Well, thank you, Elle. Appreciate the opportunity. So let me start off by saying this to keep it really succinct, what GOBA is. For our industry, we are the authority, the educator, and the promoter of all things residential construction in the three-county area, Orange, Seminole, and Osceola County. And what that means to me personally is this, is that without GOBA, I would not have the connections that we have for my company. We're a general contracting company that focuses on custom or luxury homes. I would not have the contacts of the associate members, of which the likes are like Elle and another young woman on the phone with us today with Janine, who provides windows. Elle does landscaping. And again, it's GOBA that opens those doors for me to meet those people so that I can then do business with them. Secondarily, from a promotions aspect, for my company, having the ability to put the proud GOBA member logo on all of my literature and everything we do, all of our signs on our job sites, just immediately increases the level of credibility for what we do to the general public. It's kind of like the stamp of approval. So when you see a job site and it has a GOBA sign on it, you know that builder has met certain requirements for GOBA membership, is well known within GOBA because they're promoting themselves as a GOBA member, and they seem to be, while not actually held to, but they seem to be held to a higher standard in what they build.
Awesome, John. And my name is Sean Calgie, by the way. Pleasure to meet you. And how about a fun fact, John, about you?
So fun fact about me. So I did very well in life by marrying well outside of my range, and put it in football terms, I far outkicked my coverage. But my wife is a former teenage beauty queen on the national scale. She was Miss US Teen in 1985.
Well, look at you, John. Congratulations, brother.
I did well above what I should have done. That's for sure. Yeah.
And speaking of outkicking our coverage in the NFL, Nick Lowry, Kansas City Chiefs Hall of Famer, was on the Real Raw, like yourselves today, on Friday, and he's going to be bringing NFL players consistently here. He speaks on the Think and Grow Rich stage, Dartmouth graduate, Harvard Leadership School grad, and Nick and I had a beautiful conversation on Saturday about his involvement in the Real Raw. So we have literally people that can outkick their coverage on the football field, as well as you, John, in the marriage department. We have it everywhere now. So great job.
Yeah. Thank you.
Elle.
Yes. So thanks, John. We have, let's see, who wants to, Chassity, can you talk?
Sure. Tell me if you can hear me.
Introduce yourself and.
So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chassity Vega. I'm the CEO for the Greater Orlando Builders Association. While I've been employed by GOBA for over 13 years, I've been in my role as CEO for the last 3 years. And, obviously John mentioned a lot of who we are and what we do. But if you're in residential construction, you obviously want to have a watchdog and somebody who has your back, and that's GOBA. That's what we do as a team. We're the second largest association in the state of Florida, and we represent 750 companies and over 30,000 employees in Orange, Seminole, and Osceola County. We're a force to be reckoned with in the government arena, and we put on some pretty amazing golf tournaments and clay shoot events and networking events and award ceremonies, and there's a lot that we do and a lot that you can be informed of. So great to see everyone today.
And Chassity, a quick fun fact.
Well, I think on my last podcast, I told you all that I'm kind of a football freak, and I think my voice today kind of shows it. I'm going to go with something a little more personal, and I was born with 4 kidneys.
Wow.
So I still have them. I still have all my kidneys, and they all work, and it's really healthy, when you drink, so everything's good.
Can you drink twice as much, Chassity?
No, I'm not very good at it, but I like to. I'm just not good at it.
Yeah. You have extra filtration.
Right, tailgating, it's like, I can drink more, 4 kidneys. That might be a perfect Chassity shirt. So awesome. I'll just share this. So in terms of GOBA, the things that Elle says about the organization are incredible. Her acceleration in her business and her world has been nothing short of remarkable. Like in terms of who am I, I'm an attorney with offices in Florida, in New Jersey, New York, out West as well. I also have a national speaking platform. And why that's relevant to this conversation is because much of what I have built has been being involved with organizational structures of relevant people. And one of those structures, so I could speak into the idea of GOBA membership and being a part of things, I pay $200,000 a year to be part of one of the organizations that I'm a part of, just to have proximity to people that can create acceleration. And what I've seen for Elle, Chassity, hearing from you, John, and everybody, is the idea that you've created such an unbelievable environment of people who are like-minded, who by being together, getting to know one another and having common structures to repeat those interactions, have the ability to grow their money, time, and magic. And it's an amazing thing. So congratulations on all you're doing in the world. And I'm looking forward to all the things we're going to do from here together. So thank you.
Great.
Yeah. Elle?
Would you introduce yourself then? You're muted.
Oh. Good afternoon. My name is Thad Lynch, native Central Floridian. I've been in the industry since I graduated from UCF, so 16 plus years. One where, or former fashion, have been GOBA during the duration of my career. John said it really eloquently. I think he said something to the effect of like judge, juror, and executioner of all home building in Florida, or Central Florida. To be honest, early in my career, GOBA was a networking organization to me, and really just an organization that threw the best parties. And so as I've developed in my career and have moved up and kind of broadened sort of my scope and my span, GOBA's become instrumental in what my organization is able to do, what I'm able to provide to GOBA, and what we do for the industry and the greater good of that. And I think Chassity nailed it on the head. In effect, and what I had in my notes is that we're really the watchdog. There surprisingly are a number of entities, whether government or private, that don't have the best interests of growth in our industry in mind, and we keep an eye on that and kind of stay on the forefront of those battles.
Great. Did we lose you, Sean?
Nope, right here. Yeah. So that's awesome, brother. Welcome, and love the concept of watchdogness and also the best parties. What's your favorite GOBA party of all time?
Well, I will say we have a somewhat a president right now who's on his way out, who's pretty fond of himself, and helped me plan one of the largest GOBA installments in history, which we did it at the Amway Center where the Orlando Magic play. To give you an idea, I think we had it at the Science Center for John the year prior. And so now we're in a 13,000 seat arena holding an installment.
Well, GOBA sounds like it has a lot happening, Elle. So, and Elle, by the way, who else do we have? So I want to hear your GOBA dynamics as well, Elle.
I have been, this is my second year of membership with GOBA. And I mean, I think they have so many amazing things, and not to mention, I don't want to say Chassity single-handedly helped get us to be an essential business, but she certainly was highly influential, and which has been, obviously we didn't know how it was going to go down, and we would be sitting in a very different seat right now if we were not essential business. So really having that influence over the government has been, extraordinary. But for me personally, this going on my second year, it's just being introduced to and having access to lots of builders as a landscaping company. Obviously, we're a subcontractor, so just having proximity to them and being able to get introduced. And then, you know, as far as my work with Unblinded, getting introduced, but then knowing how to say what you do and how to convey that very effectively between the two of them has been extremely powerful. My business, I acquired, I buy businesses. I acquired it in 2018, and we have gone from 4.5 million in revenue to right now we have 25.3 million in our pipeline. And that's just in 2.5 years during a pandemic. So it's
incredible.
powerful stuff.
Incredible, Elle. Great job. Congratulations. Yeah. So who else do we have here today? Oh, and by the way, fun fact.
Oh, a fun fact is I've jumped out of a perfectly good airplane.
That is outstanding. Outstanding. This morning or no?
No, not this morning. No. It was a few years ago, Sean.
Who else do we have here today?
We have Janine Swanson. Welcome, Janine.
Hey, Janine.
Thank you. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Yes, I am Janine Swanson. I am the president of Weathermaster Building Supplies. We provide windows and sliding glass doors, mostly to new home builders in Central Florida. I've been with the company going on 18 years.
Wow.
And I can tell you that we have been members for probably most of that. And I really did not become involved until probably about 5 years ago, when I realized that was the key to meeting people, learning what the industry does, becoming very involved. And I am so glad that I did. It's really opened a lot of doors for us. It's given us the insight as to what GOBA does on the legal front, on the political front. It's just been a great experience, and I recommend it, you know, to anybody in the building industry. And it's pretty much all I've got right now, unless you want a fun fact.
Yes, a fun fact works.
So I picked up on that you are a Jets fan, Sean, and I
True.
also am happy that we no longer have Brady in our division, but I am a Bills fan. From Western New York, born and bred till the day I die. And I can only hope today at 5 o'clock we do not get slaughtered by the Chiefs.
Well, you're having quite an awesome start to the season, though, no?
Well, yes, but then last week against Tennessee looked like, you know, it was like the old Bills high school team or something. It was not pretty.
Yeah. Well, all the way back to the days of Joe Ferguson playing at Shea Stadium in my childhood. We've had incredibly challenging times with the Bills, the Patriots. I think everybody in our division as a Jet. Miami Dolphins, it's been a rough road, but congratulations on being a Bill fan. At least you've been to like the Super Bowl in your lifetime. So.
Oh, let's not bring that. I mean, yes, that's great, but you know, I always get harassed about that part of it. So
well,
always a bridesmaid, never a bride.
Yeah. Well, at least you got to the altar. We have not. It's awesome. Congratulations. Elle.
Let's see. We have Iron Man, also known as Jason Sippo.
What's up, Iron Man?
What's up, Sean? How you doing?
I'm doing awesome, man. Great to have you here. I was in our ocean and Elle's ocean just a few minutes ago, taking a quick dip before we got started. But what's up, brother? Who are you? What are you up to in the world? And a fun fact.
All right, I'm ready with all of it, and I'm jealous you're in the ocean. That sounds amazing. So I've went from significant spinal surgery to not one but 5 full Ironmans, and I've taken that and I've applied it through my professional career. I have helped over 2,000 people find new employment as a recruiter, and now that I've stepped in to be a catalyst for impactful leadership, to help leaders with their leadership capabilities find more money, time, and magic. And a fun fact, I have 2 today, Sean. So one is last week I learned on my birthday that Kirk Gibson hit that walk-off home run on October 15th, 1988. And I never made the connection with my birthday and that momentous Dodger moment in
Wild.
history.
Are you a Dodger fan, Jason, or no?
Yes, I've been a Dodger fan since '81 when they beat the Yankees, and I'm a Niners fan too because they beat the Bengals in '81. I guess that's the beginning of my fandom.
Well, congratulations on your World Series-ness.
Oh yeah, that was up very late last night, so I might be a little tired today. So,
No, that's awesome.
and then second fun fact, Elle asked me to share that I was almost a professional Lindy hopper. I placed 5th at American Lindy Hop Championships back in the day, and so I used to travel around the United States and compete in swing dancing competitions and perform and do other things. So
very, very cool. Well, I'll throw in a quick fun fact, Elle, Jason, everybody. So 2 years after that Kirk Gibson home run, and actually, I'm sorry, 1 year after, it was the fall, 8, 9, actually 2 years. 2 years after that, I was playing baseball at Columbia University. I'm now blind. I was not blind at the time, obviously. I was captain of the team my senior year. But we played in the Oakland A's spring training facility to launch our college season in Arizona that year. And we're in the dugout. I have never seen larger humans in my entire life than the Oakland A's from 1989. It was absolutely mind-blowing. Dave Henderson, Carney Lansford, like Mike Gallego was the tiny looking second baseman compared to these guys on television. Mike Gallego was completely jacked, like beyond comprehension. It was utterly unbelievable, the size of that team. They called them the Bash Brothers, the biggest humans I ever saw. So yes, back to you, Elle.
All natural.
Yeah,
natural.
Not natural at all in any way, shape, or form. Yeah.
Yes. Then we have Joe Hagan.
The illustrious Joe Hagan. What's up, Joe?
A lot of things. GOBA's up, Unblinded is up. The trajectory is awesome. I spent the first 20 years of my career out of college on Wall Street coaching clients of mine how to get into the stock market, how to navigate it correctly, strategies, philosophies. And I spend the last 10 years right now really saying, showing them that they're probably too overexposed in the market. We work on a lot of alternative investment strategies. But I've also coached a lot of entrepreneurs and advisors along the way on how to build and accelerate their business. And I find myself doing that now with Unblinded, similar to GOBA, just teaching people what their ecosystem is, how to identify it, how to add value to it, how to monetize it, merge with other ecosystems, and having a lot of fun doing it, right? Making more money in less time with more magic is always fun. And my fun fact is that I watched the Giants actually win on my phone yesterday, a game. So that was a good thing. I didn't see how they won till afterwards because my phone died because I was busy outside watching my 13-year-old daughter pitch for an 18U team. And he had 15 strikeouts in 6 innings with 0 earned runs. And it was pretty amazing to watch yesterday.
Joe, that's crazy, dude. 13 years old playing 18U. Like for anybody that's got any optics on sports, I don't know that I've heard that before. And I've been very involved in the major world of club sports at different ages. I knew your daughter was awesome, Joe. I had no idea. That's remarkable. Congratulations, brother.
Thank you.
Yeah, crazy. Elle.
I think that's everybody. I think a couple people might have dropped off on us. We have quite a few that are afraid of the role playing, Sean. So I thought maybe we could start off gently, and Jason and I can do a role play.
Can I do this? You know what? And
yeah.
Absolutely. So would it be okay if I dropped in for 2 minutes
Yes.
on that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, hey, my name is Sean Callaghy, and I was once afraid of role playing too. So my sophomore year in college, I ate lunch by myself for most of the year because I was predominantly introverted, even though I had athletic success and, was a 4-year starter at Columbia. And when I came out of law school, I was very excited and very happy to be in a library and to research cases and to do my thing. And when I realized the people who were unlocking their financial outcomes, who were accelerating their time and scaling and freedom and the magic in their life, the impact, the contribution through their leadership, selling, marketing, I was like, this is the last thing in the world I want to do. I can't think of anything more horrendous to think about than marketing or selling anything in the world. And sitting here 23 years later, I realized very quickly thereafter that, yeah, having the ability to create influence it's not something we're taught. It's also not something that defines who and what we are in any way, shape, or form, but it is exponentially and incredibly valuable. And in fact, it dictates much of what we have in our life. And I'll just share this final quick detail. I don't believe that the difference in people's ability to create influence, and influence is not a dirty word. It can be used as a dirty word. It could be used horribly. Like, I was the first person to report a gentleman who was the largest Ponzi schemer in the history of Florida to the FBI, who's now serving 45 years in prison. He has an NBC American Greed episode after him. And yes, he had the superpower of influence, but use it for darkness. But the superpower of influence can also be used for light. So as an example, I created a training company after I sold my first law firm in the early 2000s, a training coaching company. And we had 4 people that came in to see if they could set appointments. The first person booked 0 in 2 weeks. The second person booked 0 in 2 weeks. The third person booked 0 in 2 weeks. And each of them said sort of the same thing. These opportunities and folks are the wrong people. This opportunity is the wrong opportunity. It's the wrong timing, the economy, etc. And it was all, it's just, and they were nice people and they worked hard. And the outcome was 0, literally, not a booked meeting. But there was a fourth person. And the fourth person's name was Greg. His name was Greg DiPietro. And Greg, in the same time period, booked 30 meetings over 2 weeks. And I was like, Greg, how'd you do it? He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, well, everybody else said. He's like, dude, I don't know. I just made phone calls and talked to people. This is an incredible opportunity. And yeah, I helped them see what they weren't seeing. And so Greg, in booking 30 meetings versus 0, wasn't just a little better. He wasn't even exponentially better. Greg was, in fact, infinitely better, because there's no number that you can multiply times 0 to get to 30. And this has been the study of my life, proven over and over and over again. And that's the space of what we're doing here. So I honor everybody's comfort zones, everybody doing whatever they want. It's all good. But we don't grow and accelerate that which we do not measure. That's a proven psychological dynamic. You want to jump a little higher. If you're 70 years old or 7 years old, start measuring it. And studies show that it gets better. We're here to unpack not just the magic and the mystery of influence, but to debunk the myth that we're born that way and that it can be developed. Joe Hagan, his life stands for Elle and what she's done. Like all of us, that's what's up. So Elle, you guys, please feel free to illustrate and let's drop in.
Okay. Are you up for it, Jason Sipple?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Let's go.
All right. So Jason will tell me who I am and the yes that he's looking for in this world.
Okay. I thought we were going to do it the other way, but yes, that's a good one too. Who do I want you to be, Elle? Can we flip it? Do you have someone? I was ready to be a role player. Do you have a yes you want?
Sure. You can be a large home builder. I actually have an appointment tomorrow. And the yes I'm looking for is the opportunity to bid on both of their, on 2 of their new projects coming up.
Perfect.
Is that enough info for you?
Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Hey, Jason, how are you?
I'm doing good. Is this Elle?
Yes. I'm glad we got introduced. I'm excited about what you're doing in your home building business. How are things going?
They're going well. We got a lot of projects. Seems like things are picking back up after COVID, and we're excited.
Good. What's been your biggest challenge? Like finding land to buy or selling the homes, dealing with subcontractors?
Probably dealing with subcontractors right now because there's so many homes being built in Orlando. It's kind of hard to get everything lined up and get things done on time.
Yes, I understand that. I hear that a lot. And as a landscaping company, I'm sure you're aware, like we're often like the last sub in. And so we're on a very critical time commitment. So one of our commitments is that we are 100% committed to on-time closings. So you and your homeowners can close on time.
That's amazing. So that's a guarantee that you're putting out there. Like, how do you guarantee that with everything going on?
Well, I have two quick stories to tell you that if you have a minute.
Yeah, I have at least a minute.
Okay. So what we do to home builders, but we also have general contractors. And this is my favorite story is we were doing for a general contractor, a big strip mall, and there was a Starbucks in this strip mall. Well, most all of the Starbucks use the exact same pavers, okay? And the local supplier of pavers didn't tell us till last minute, because we'd already ordered them, that they were out. And not only were they out, there's only one manufacturing plant that makes the Starbucks pavers, and they don't even have it on their production schedule till after the closing. So if Starbucks doesn't get the pavers, Starbucks isn't opening, and general contractors are not happy. Starbucks is not happy. It's a bad situation. So I imagine most landscapers would have pushed it back on the GC at this point, but not us. In fact, I didn't even get involved. My operations manager found out, said, okay, well, what plant is it? Found out with the manufacturing plant, called there, got a hold of their general manager and said, listen, this is the situation. This is how many pavers we need of the Starbucks paver. And he's like, oh, that sounds bad. Let me call you right back. He called in 10 minutes. He had located enough pavers of this kind to get this job done. So we actually sent our own people to go pick it up all the way across the state to get it back so we could get those pavers in and close on time. So when I say we're 100% committed to on-time closing, I mean it. We are committed.
I love that. That's impressive. That makes me feel more confident.
Yes. And then as a home, we had one builder, a large builder, I won't say their name. They're not on this call, by the way. They had said, okay, we have this house closing. So, they gave us the normal time frame and we finished it, no problem. And then at 6 o'clock, on a Thursday, they call and say, oh, that was the wrong lot that I told you. It's actually this lot and the closing's tomorrow morning. So I don't know what other landscapers would do, but we got back in our trucks, went back out there. Now, this was also during the sod shortage, if you guys remember that, not that long ago. So we had to steal the sod from the house that wasn't ready to close and move it over to the house that was ready so that we could close that house. So the homeowner's happy, the builder's happy. So yes, when I say we are 100% committed to on-time closing, I mean it.
Oh, I got worried when you said you stole the sod for a second, but now that I know that you just borrowed it, I feel a lot better. So
yes.
You're doing it with integrity too. That's good, Elle.
I even got pictures of the house missing the sod for fun.
Awesome. Elle, can I drop in on this, Elle, real quick?
Yes.
So what do you attribute at a core level? Because you've grown a business about 6.5x in 2 years. So your superpower is clearly in growing and scaling. What do you attribute that to, though? If you had to put into one sentence, why have you 6.5? And we're not talking about going from 100,000 in revenue to 650 in revenue. We're talking 4 to 25 million. What do you attribute that to? One sentence.
One sentence I would say is doing whatever it takes with integrity.
Right. Awesome. And also, you've obviously had to increase structures to accelerate your sales meetings in really meaningful ways to generate new client relationships. And some of your clients are 7-figure clients. Yes?
Yes, absolutely. Lots of them.
Awesome. Okay. So I am going to turn this back to you. What happens from here, Elle? In terms of other folks going, this is more illustrative today. What are we doing from here on this very unique GOBA Real Raw?
Let's see. Do we have anyone that is willing to try? How about Janine? You seem like you're brave.
I'm not really brave. I'd rather not.
Well, you have to sell your windows.
We do. We
So
do.
I'll be a very nice home builder, and you just talk to me. How's that?
Okay,
Janine, no,
that's great.
Janine, what's present for you? This is interesting. This is the 248th real roll we've had, and I'm feeling like palpable hesitancy. It's all good. So what's present for you around, the idea of presenting who you are? It's all good. I totally validate it. We have all sorts of things that come up for us. But I'm just curious, what's coming up for you?
You mean, why am I hesitant?
Yeah.
I'm not, the one thing I am not is high pressure sales, never have been. And
So
I know.
have fun. Can I just ask you this question? So
Sure.
what suggested to you that any part of this is high? And I'm not offended at all, but suggested to you this is high pressure sales.
Oh, no, I didn't. I don't go in and try to talk about all the great things we do. I try to build the relationship. We need to find some common ground, build the relationship. I don't necessarily go in and start touting facts about, what we are and who we are. I will when asked, but I feel more it needs to be more an organic conversation to get started, which is fine, and that's usually how I do it. I leave the more heavy hitting sales to closing the deal to our actual salespeople. I've been in sales, but like I said, I'm about building the relationships, because the people know that in the business that we have here, we need to do the right thing. And even if the job doesn't start out properly, we're going to close it properly.
Yeah, that's awesome. So just to be crystal clear, as we get to know each other, integrity-based human influence anchors on the first component of creating emotional rapport with people. And so in all communications that we teach scientifically, 2/3 of the conversation is rooted in listening, like 2/3. And so in every single dynamic we have, I couldn't agree more. But the simple question is, how do we leave a conversation and an interaction with people and have them feel that we were congruently unique, so they're curious and they want to continue building the relationship with us. So I couldn't agree more with anything you're saying. Please don't misinterpret any dynamic that's occurring to suggest anything, but that this is about the opening of listening between people, because the last thing we want to be is Charlie Brown's teacher in Peanuts saying wah,
Right.
wah, wah, wah. So how do we open listening? That's what it's all about. And that's the dynamics that are present here. So Elle, I'm going to turn this to you for a moment. And Joe and Jason, I thank you everybody for being here today. And I'm going to be communicating on Eric's for a little bit. And if we need any support, Elle, I'll bounce back.
Okay.
And we have Joe here as well, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, so let me just point that out, Sean. Thank you, Sean. Janine, that's a very popular misconception, and I think that's really what Unblinded is all about. On the other hand, I have had intense sales training on Wall Street, and I have taught hundreds of brokers in a boardroom how to get to that, what I call now an agreement formation or a sales close. There's a different dynamic there, because often the markets are fluid and moving, and if you got to act and if you're going to be decisive, as long as all the facts are present, you really have to act with urgency. That's a different beast and a different animal to slay altogether. When it comes to Unblinded, it's really simple. It's influence is not sales. Influence is indeed a superpower. And, I could talk about a buddy of mine that's enormously successful in the car dealership world, and he doesn't sell anybody. You're just really comfortable being around him. He's always getting the best terms of the deal. So I could do something real simple, such as like when Sean talks about what we do here on the Real Raw, right? Say you bump into somebody who is your avatar, who can help Janine get to the next level of your business. Maybe it's someone who's a supplier. Maybe it's someone who could provide you with a whole bunch of accounts. If you have 3 minutes in that opportunity, maybe it's at one of these awesome GOBA events. Maybe it's one of, at a golf outing or in the middle of a make and multiply in your business, okay, if you can then also do business with other people that you meet, it's going to be time well spent. So that's the opportunity we want to give to your members. And what I'd love to do is literally have a Zoom call with Elle Anderson, with Sean Callaghan at Blinded, and talk about how we need to get more of your people involved in the Real Raw Open, because once they understand that you can have a lot of fun energy with integrity-based human influence, their businesses will accelerate. Because what they have in their relationships by paying for the membership is equity. And they don't realize they have equity sitting in their hands when they look at the roster of the Greater Orlando Business Association. And if I could teach you how to look at that equity and value it, add value to it, and really merge with other ecosystems within your ecosystem, then your business is going to accelerate. Your job, you're going to look a lot smarter, because you're going to be getting a lot more Thad Lynch's referring Joe Hagan, to you, so that we can accelerate more and more. So what I'd like to do is have that meeting sometime next week. Would that be okay?
I kind of like this plan, Joe. That would be fine.
Okay, what day is better for you? It sounds to me like Mondays, if Tampa Bay is playing on a Sunday, is not a good idea. So let's talk about Tuesday or Wednesday. Which one works best?
I'm going to go with hump day, Joe.
Wednesday it is. Mike. One of my favorite commercials of all time. So what's better for you, in the morning or the afternoon?
I would say let's go for the afternoon while I'm on my 5th cup of coffee.
Awesome, Java. And so I'm going to do 2:30 p.m. Is that a good time for your 5th cup of coffee, or should I go a little early, like 1?
2:30, let's rock and roll.
Okay, sounds great. That's really simple. I kind of switched it because you started talking about GOBA, so I started talking about how I can make you 13% when a diversified portfolio is 6%, and I can give you additional upside without additional equity. Was lost on me when you started talking about GOBA, and I said, why don't you stick with Unblinded? Because the reality is this: the superpower and the ability to influence really can be learned. And it really is something that is not scary. It really is something so simple. And when you practice it and when you role play, you wind up practicing the formula. And in real world, we have meetings all the time with Elle and people. And we're talking about real estate agents. We're talking about builders, construction guys. We're talking about doctors, chiropractors, attorneys, you name it. How they look at their practice or their business and their entrepreneur, and how they can add value. And all of a sudden things start coming together. And then they report their wins. And these were some of the very same people that reacted exactly as Janine did. Well, sales is, I'm not really, I said, when you can really show them your unique, heroic identity after you've built rapport, it's not sales. It just isn't. It's just influence. And people gravitate to that. You're not selling them. They feel a pull. And so I'll use my daughter as, and when you mentioned that before, Janine, I never forget the first time we were in rec, and she got chosen to the All-Star team, and we were pulling into the Michael T. Park. She said, Dad, I'm scared. And I can be a little bit intense, very loving, but very intense when it comes to a lesson, a life lesson. And I pulled over in a lot, and I said, what do you mean you're scared? Tell me what that means. Well, I'm afraid I'm not, this is the All-Star game. I'm afraid I'm not good enough. And I just lost it on her. And I said, I don't care what you do. You strike out 3 times. Whatever you do, I'm proud of you. But you better give it your best. And if you think that you're not good enough, then you won't be. But if you think you are, that's it. She wound up hitting the walk-off bomb over the center fielder's head. The team ran on the field. It was a walk-off. They jumped on her at second base. And she got up, and on the ride home, she said, Dad, I want to pitch. And she's been that way since. My point is, she was nervous at first, and then all she does is take lessons all the time and works at it. Nobody gave her taking down 18-year-olds at 13. She really trains hard on her own because it's something that she wanted. And I just thought of that because there's so many people, Janine, on these calls that talk about, oh, sales, I don't want to do that. They find people, typically you'll see 10 contestants going, and we got a better cadence, and it's going quicker. And what they'll see is that, oh, that wasn't that hard. That was easy. And then you hear the judges talk about, what you could have done better, what you really did right. And it really starts to, marinate and gel. And then people realize this is something that they could use, right? So I think this is absolutely amazing. I'm watching people's business accelerate. I'm sitting here, if I'm a builder in this association, and I can meet one person on one of these calls. I've already met people incidentally that want to know what I'm doing for 13% without additional upside, without additional risk. And all I do is introduce myself, what I've done in this world. It's not even a sales presentation. My point is that if one builder gets into one of these real raws and they meet someone who says, you know what, I like that guy, I like his or gal, his unique heroic identity. And now I've got one relationship that might give me an additional 700,000 in revenue this year that I wouldn't have had otherwise, right? And life is all about opportunities. And I think the world of Unblinded matched with the world of GOBA just presents the ability to really merge and just multiply and accelerate those opportunities into reality.
Absolutely. Right? And, I want to discuss that. Like when I first started, Janine, I was like you. It's like, no, my company, my work speaks for itself. Like, I don't want to have to go out there and sell myself or promote myself. And then
let me just cut in for just a moment. It's not that I don't want to sell myself. I do it all the time. I speak publicly at GOBA. I speak to my staff. I go on sales calls. What I didn't want to do was role play. That was the difference.
And why? I mean, if it's just
it just doesn't feel natural to me. So it comes off as awkward, I think.
So if you're speaking to somebody, I'll just take baseball, right? Nobody gets up to the batter's box and hits the ball, right? Without taking batting practice, without taking training. At some point, you have practiced what you say to whoever you're saying it to, either in real life or in real scenario, or I don't know. I've practiced in the mirror speaking to clients and making sure that my diction is correct. My point to you is, maybe not for Janine Swanson, but for other associates out there, other contractors, if there's ability to not only meet and connect with people, but to practice what they might say and realize what they're doing wrong, wouldn't you see any tremendous value in that? Wouldn't you rather practice your mistakes on a group of people that for free, and in a very fun and loving way, by the way, say, hey, maybe Martin thought about saying it this way, maybe you should have thought about this, or better yet, and I would do this in my boardroom all the time on Wall Street, and I would hear about it on the football field from the coaches or any sports, that when somebody else is getting some coaching and they're hearing what they may have done wrong or what they could do better, you learn from that as well. So when you have 10 people on the call and you learn from every other call, you realize it wasn't that bad. The point, it's an experiential marketing where people really learn a lot. And I can't tell you that perhaps it's because you haven't experienced a real raw, and that the feeling is that it felt a little awkward. But there are some videos and some clips that we could send you of people that come on with the right, with an attitude that varies, right? It's awkward. I love it. I'll have some fun. I'm nervous, whatever it is. And they just roll into it and they wind up coming away, like I said, learning a lot. There were a lot of people that, kicked and screamed, but Elle, perhaps that we send Janine, some of the videos of some of the real raws that people had, a little bit of that, precondition, pre-notion going into it, and came away with a different understanding of it.
Yeah, I think that's probably the point. It's interesting that we're on Unblinded, but I probably blindsided my guest speakers today, because Janine actually just got back from vacation, and I said, it's GOBA membership. I just need you on here. And I said, she's brilliant and she's amazing. And she's one of my diehard females in GOBA. And I said, and she said, well, what is this? And I was like, just get on. Right. So I think she's probably, and she's probably blindsided a little bit. So with in all fairness to Janine. But I remember when I was on my first podcast here with Elle, and I felt I did not know what to expect. And all of a sudden, Elle jumped in and said, Chassity role play. And I was like, whoa, I rolled with it, but I did not like any bit of it. And I don't even think, even when I was done, I could tell you what I even said. Like this nervousness talk, you're right. It's completely unnatural. And I think if we had a way to adopt, saying, hey, this is what's going to happen and this is how you're going to present and learn, and this, and you kind of be a little more open to it. Sorry.
Yeah,
The interesting thing is we
obviously,
send out videos that really oftentimes they'll send out a video that explains what the role play is and they'll give you an example of it, and people still don't watch it. So they get on and they say, okay, I'll just have some fun with it and go with it. But
There was a video that came through, but it wouldn't play.
interesting.
okay.
So find out who sent that video, and we'll have to come to the some sort of justice, mete it out.
Now, what did you think, Thad?
In regards to what part specifically?
Just the whole concept, even though it's a little bit different today. You were adamant about not role playing.
I don't know if I was adamant. I think Chas just knew I wasn't going to role play. For any other reason other than I watched the video, and I've heard some good concepts today. But just glad to be here.
Now, how about this question? Have you heard subs trying to pitch you and did a terrible job?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know,
And they know they did a terrible job.
Did they know? I think if they seem receptive or ask for feedback, I'll provide that. And sometimes I'll provide that in a rejection of sorts. If what they're selling isn't necessarily what I'm looking for, or what they're selling I don't have an immediate need for. I think the one thing that Janine was trying to get across is the relationship forming and building is a big part of the business. Janine has never once tried to sell me a window, but in getting to know her over the time that I've known her, I know that when I need a need, like I would, she's someone that I trust and feel confident and discussing and then ultimately awarding business to. And I think that may be the approach that Janine was getting to, and honestly, that's there's not a lot of guys that get in on the first meeting and seal a deal. I think, at least within my building, most of our partners have been with us for years, and they have grown with our company, and we've added as we needed. And it's taken multiple duration of time, I think, to establish that rapport and those relationships in order to gain and grow business with us.
So just to be clear, the unblinded formula is 100% in building relationships. So